What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Got a nice little dueling book game for you guys to check out. Let me make sure I turn the music off. I don't really like doing the audio. Yeah, it's very seldom that I'm actually dueling, but this was like Tuesday night, and this is my regional deck, and I just wanted to get some preparation. I'm going to take Altergeist to regionals, probably YCS Atlanta, and any other regionals that happen before the NAWCQ. So I open up with like almost a god hand. I'd prefer if the Regeki was like a strike, but it's still a pretty good hand. I go first. Milusic goes straight into Link Karibo, so I can get a search off of her, which is good because it gets my engine rolling and I get a +1. I can get Milusic back from Marionetta in my next turn, and Marionetta will also net me another +1. Plus, I've got Wire Tap, so even with me committing 5 cards to the board turn 1, if my opponent has evenly matched, which is what I want them to have, I'm probably just going to win because not only will evenly match not resolve, I get a 1-for-1, but at the same time, they don't get their battle phase, so they can't even bait out my Link Karibo, which is not really, like, it's not something you need as a win condition. It's just kind of there to get Milusic in the graveyard and get an attack stopper on board at the same time, so like you don't have to sacrifice any of your utility. So I'm going to activate Manifestation, my Call of the Haunted, on my Milusic so that I can turn on my protocol, which is the Walking Divine Wrath in this deck. And I feel pretty good. Dueling against Nai, he's kind of an old school veteran. This guy is a huge fan of like Yang Zings and Zephyra. He got a bunch of tops with Zephyra a while ago when Zephyra was like definitely not on anybody's radar and people thought the deck was just jank. I saw him play a couple of Mythical Beasts and I was like, wait, what is this? He switched from Zephyra to Mythical Beasts? Like with all the new Zephyra support, I would have thought he was playing that. Now, it is unfortunate he has Cerberus on the field because Cerberus, if he activates another spell, and obviously he has scales now, so he can do that, Cerberus can threaten my my Milusic, and you cannot let Milusic get banished under any circumstances. It's basically the same. You treat Milusic as you would Satellar Knight Deneb. Do not let her get banished, so I'm going to use my protocol, my Divine Wrath, to get rid of that. It sucks because I usually would like to save my protocol for if I'm playing against a pendulum deck. Heavy Metaphors Electromite is the only card. It's the only effect monster that I mainly care about. Like it's the #1 card that I want to stop because I feel like a pendulum deck cannot beat me if they don't get Electromite off. Everything else that they do is fairly just inconsequential. And if you can get rid of their pendulum skills, a pendulum deck doesn't matter which pendulum deck it is. If it's pendulum, they're not gonna outgrind. They're not gonna outgrind Altergeist. I know that people are thinking, oh, table 500 deck, you're so confident. I believe in this deck a lot. I think Altergeist is extremely good. So I get Conquering. I don't generally like searching it this early, but as I said, I don't have a way of stopping it. I don't have a way of stopping his pendulum summon. I have a way of stopping one attack, obviously Link Karibo, but you know, pendulum decks are super explosive, so I want to guarantee that I don't get like OTK'd here. And I have Regeki as kind of like my follow-up play. So when I see pendulum decks, I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna get Omega. He's definitely going to go into Electromite because that's what they do. But I'm just trying to make sure that I have a way of stopping an attack, a couple of attacks, and then getting a monster on board and I don't get completely blown out, and then obviously my Marionetta can get me back into my engine. So that's kind of the play right here, or that's kind of the mindset. He's going to attack and bait out Link Karibo. It's fine. I'm just going to activate Link Karibo's effect, and then I'm probably going to summon Konkori. I was thinking like what order I wanted to do it in, and if either one of these monsters didn't. I know this monster, Time Gazer, yeah, he doesn't do anything. I don't even know what his monster effect is. Not sure it's ever been really relevant. I was just trying to look at what card on the field I should negate. I know that I still ultimately don't have a way of stopping Electromite. If Protocol was not a hard once per turn, Altergeist would be just like God tier because he wouldn't be able to go into Electromite here. I mean, he could go into it, but I'd be able to Divine Wrath him again, and at that point, what do you really have? I still have my core engine piece and Marionetta. I still have a Wire Tap for whatever trap you're going to play. Again, I just play Wire Tap because of evenly matched, but even outside of that, every deck kind of has like 1 or 2 trap cards that you can hit even if you can't hit evenly matched. So I just target Zephraf, and the reason I targeted Zephraf is because he hadn't activated its effect yet, unless I'm mistaken. So anyways, let's speed it up a little bit. He goes into Electromite, which I can't stop, so I just pretty much have to let him do whatever he wants. He's obviously going to get a nice little plus off Electromite by probably blowing up one of his pendulum scales. It's going to draw a card, and Let's see if he does anything else. He gets Chronograph Sorcerer. Okay, so he gets this draw. Now he's going to Pendulum Summon Secret and the copy of Jackal. Now, I thought maybe he was going to go for... I thought maybe he was going to go for like a Link Summon, or possibly that he was going to go for a rank 6, but, you know, he does not. I go ahead and Regeki him. He should be activating 9 Pillars. At some point, he activates 9 Pillars. Wiretap comes in, says no. See, that's why I like Wiretap. Even if your opponent doesn't have evenly matched, then eventually they will give you an opportunity to activate Wiretap. And Wiretap, considering it's a spell speed 3, it's pretty fucking definitive that it's going to resolve. So, Regeki blows him out. I feel pretty good about this. I think he's going to play Astrograph Sorcerer from his hand. So he says that the Secret's Chainlink 1 and Astrograph's Chainlink 2, which is fine with me because I'm just going to negate Astrograph now with my Divine Wrath. I'm like, you're taking one of the best pendulum monsters in the game, a card that I think should be banned, and I just have to get rid of a Kunkori, which is a pretty shitty card when it's on the field because it doesn't do that much on field except kind of be a defensive card. So I'll gladly take a 1-for-1 there because not only would Astrograph give him a big body on board that I might not be able to attack over this turn, but then it obviously lets him plus, so I'm stopping both of those, like 2 birds with 1 stone. So yeah, I'm gonna activate my my Divine Wrath. It doesn't matter where effect monsters activate. Protocol can stop them. Graveyard, hand, it doesn't matter, field, whatever. Protocol can stop all those effects. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to get rid of that. He's going to put his search back into, what's it called? His search back into his deck. And this is really good. I don't know why people are under some really ignorant mindset that Altergeist cannot make Hexia. You see, this is my second turn in the duel. And at first I was like, I'm gonna use Marionetta. I'm gonna summon my Milusic back, and then I thought about it. I was like, I already used Protocol this turn, and I can get it back from the graveyard anyways because I can just ban this manifestation and get it back. So I was like, fuck that. I'm going to give up my Protocol. I'm going to summon Milusic back. Not only am I going to get one of his Pendulum Scales off board, get 2100 damage, but at the same time, I'm going to be able to summon Altergeist Hexia too. So for any idiots out there who think that it's really difficult to summon Altergeist Hexia, it isn't. This is the second turn, and I did it relatively easily. I mean, yeah, you generally have to start out with Milusic or Marionetta, but if you don't hit one of these cards in like your first 3 turns, you're gonna lose anyway. So that's the least of your concerns at that point. So we do some battle damage. I'm gonna get rid of his skills. I mean, I don't really know that much about Zephyr, so maybe you guys can say I went after the wrong scale. I really just kind of picked it at random. I figured go after this scale because it's the card that can adjust its scale. Zephyr can kind of change its pendulum scale value. So I was like, I might as well get rid of this. I don't really like. I'm not familiar with this card right here, Chronograph Sorcerer. So I was just like, whatever. Another thing I like about Milusic is she does not destroy cards. She sends cards to the graveyard. So your opponent's pendulum monster effects, like they do not activate, Double Iris and Purple Poison. None of those cards activate because Milusic does not destroy. I'm going to get Marionetta at this point so I can continue on with my engine. Marionetta is basically like Satellar Knight Altier in this case. Now I have a Solemn Strike. I feel incredibly comfortable against almost any deck at this point. Just turn two, and usually Altergeist, if you have this board, you'll beat just about any deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because in draw phase, I'm going to activate my Call of the Haunted. I'm going to get Milusic back. If you try to attack over my Milusic or attack over Hexia, okay, you're already in the battle phase. I'm just going to trade her out for Link Karibo. She'll search, and I'll be able to block the attack too, as a replay will occur. At that point, I still have an ability to, or before that, I still have the ability to negate a spell or trap with Hexia, and I still have my Walking Divine Wrath. I have Solemn Strike, and I have, well, the Call of the Haunted I already talked about. But this is why I feel so comfortable with this deck, is because it's only 2 turns in, and I'm already threatening monster effects with 2 cards on my field. I'm threatening your ability to be able to do battle damage with Link Karibo, and I'm threatening your ability to activate spells and traps with Hexia. Like, I feel like Altergeist can stun the opponent so quickly and so hard that it really limits what they can actually do. So we'll speed this up a little bit. I assume I'm going to activate Manifestation at some point. So, okay, I guess I'm not. There it is. There's Manifestation. Go for Milusic because Hexia's attack is irrelevant. She's 2,000 attack right now because she gains Milusic's attack. But again, if he tries to attack Hexia or he tries to attack Milusic, that's when you just tag out for Link Karibo and you get the search and you get the stop the attack too. So the search kind of, I mean, you always pay for yourself. So He's gonna pendulum summon. Now, if he would have pendulum summoned, like I was hoping he pendulum summoned 3, because I would have 100% used Solemn Strike, and then I'd have been like, all right, it's a wrap. But he only pendulum summoned 1, and I'm like, I'm not gonna just pendulum. I'm not gonna Solemn just this card. Like I'd honestly rather hold on to my Solemn for a massive pendulum summon. So I'm usually, when I'm playing against pendulum decks, I kind of hope they overcommit, because then you can just solemn them and take out all their resources. So he's going to attack. I'm going to go for Link Karibo. I think I'm going to search Sequidius, because I already have, like, if Multi-Faker was out, I'd be searching for Multi-Faker. I would probably flip over Protocol, and I'd summon Multi-Faker during my turn, and it would be extremely, like, it would be so nice, because I'd be able to get, like, Sequidius from my deck, and that would be really nice. You can't go Multi-Faker when I summon Link Karibo, because that's a non-Altergeist monster. If Link Karibo was Altergeist Karibo, oh, that'd be so nice. So we're gonna continue playing, and I don't think he's going to do anything right now. I got another copy of Protocol. It was fine. I would have rather, again, had something like maybe not Pot of Duality, because I want to special summon this turn, but maybe a Scapegoat might have helped. Or kind of like another defensive card. Well, I guess it's always a good time for Solemn Strike. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over Protocol. I don't see him using any effects right now, so I'm going to blow up my Protocol to get my Milusic back. Now at this point, Hexia's attack is actually very relevant. She's 3,100. When you get her linked up with Marionetta specifically, then she becomes a legitimate threat, because at that point, she's a spell trap negating 3,100 attack Link 2 monster. Now, tell me any Link 2s in the game, outside of her, that can have 32 or 3,100 attack. Like, that's a lot. So we're gonna do battle damage. I'm going to ignore Secret, because I feel like that card's irrelevant. If my opponent ever has a Pendulum monster in their extra monster zone that can't threaten my field, like, this guy is just a zero attack like, I ignore that. Like, continually, if you're playing against Pendulum decks, go after their scales. That's how that's what you care about, the Pendulum summon. You don't care about monsters on the field that have 0 attack. I'll just ignore that. So you see that I'm just continually going after his Pendulum scales. I'm ignoring the cards that he has on the field, because I don't really think that they're that relevant. I still have my Solemn Strike. I still have my Call of the Haunted. I still have my Divine Wrath. So I feel pretty good. And usually if I get through this turn, the next turn, I pretty much just win. So he activated Destrudo. This is the misplay that got him back into the game. I am so ashamed that this happened, but it's good that it happened here, because the fact that it happened in this match means it'll never happen in real life to me. If at a regional, at a YCS, I'll never let it happen in real life. So what he does is he goes for Black Rose Dragon. Keep in mind, I have Solemn Strike. I can just Solemn Strike the Black Rose. So if this same exact duel happened again, I would Solemn, the duel would be over at this point. He activates a Pendulum Scale after that. I would probably just negate it with Hexia. And again, I still have my Walking Divine Wrath. The problem was, I totally forgot that Oracle of Zephyra adds a chain link, because I was just going to use Protocol as my Divine Wrath. I was going to give up Milusic, and if he had, I don't know, Cosmic Cyclone or something random to try and chain to this, I would just negate it with Hexia. And I don't think he's gonna have another card like to stop Hexia. There's just I don't see that happening. The problem was, because this is a chain link, this is chain link 2, so I cannot negate Black Rose Dragon's effect. I can negate Oracle of Zephyr's effect with Hexia, because she does not just negate activations of spells and traps, she negates spell and trap effects as well. So even stuff that's already on the field, she can negate that in addition. So unfortunately, I lose my entire board because of a super misplay. So his Oracle of Zephyr is not going to resolve. Now my cards do float. Hexia floats and Milusic floats, and the manifestation that goes to the graveyard, I can banish that to get another card out. But it's not it's not usually, if I was playing against like a deck that had a lot of offense, like Pendulum, I would expect to get OTK'd here, because let me think. If you give one scale, maybe if you Pendulum summon the tuner chick, I think her tuning magician, or the level 4 one that summons a monster from your deck, like I wouldn't be surprised if I like got OTK'd here, if they had like Astrograph and shit. But he just summons Zephyr Windy and attacks, and I'm like, oh wow. Usually if you have your absolute lock with Altergeist and you let your lock get cracked stupidly, yeah, you probably deserve to lose. So you could say that I deserve to lose, but yeah, in future situations I would definitely strike. So he searches 9 pillars. He's playing as many counter traps as I am. even though he has a pendulum deck. I know I need to get rid of 9 pillars to play, so I'm just going to throw Marionetta at it, and I actually want it to get blown up, so it does. And I'm like, all right, that's fine, because I still have Solemn, I still have Protocol, I can get Manifestation back, so I was perfectly fine walking into the 9 pillars. That was actually kind of part of the plan, but I have to, like, because I'm playing a control deck, I have to kind of claw my way back into this duel. I don't have a pendulum summon, I don't have a lot of ways of getting, unless I have Scapegoat, like I don't have an instant, like, massive blowout card. So he keeps searching. Oracle of Zephyr. This card is really good. Like, I feel like this is probably the best card in Zephyr just because it searches everything. Searches 2 different counter traps, Divine Strike and Zephyr Divine Strike and 9 pillars, so, or 9 branches, 9 pillars, whatever. He's attacking for 1500 again. I'd build a whole deck around just like that. Like, I'd play so many counter traps in Zephyr just to, like, fortify my board position and whatnot, so I don't lose to, like, evenly match and whatnot. He's going to go ahead and he's going to synchro summon. He is paying a lot of life points. I don't know if you noticed, he's paying more life points than I'm actually doing damage. That's one of the crazy things about Altergeist. Your opponent will do more damage to themselves than you actually do because this deck doesn't do a lot of damage quickly. Now, Yazzie is a problem. If you play Altergeist, cards that cannot be targeted are the bane of this deck's existence. Borload, Cosmo Dart Destroyer, Luna Light Leo Dancer, because you can't Milu Seek them and you can't Sequidius them, and all of our cards target. Conqueri, the same thing. You cannot, like, it's very difficult to play around them. You basically have to, like, Scapegoat Borload, or you have to make, like, Hextia and, like, super pump them up, so it's very difficult to get rid of those cards specifically, so I'm just gonna go ahead and Solemn. I thought that maybe this was a counter trap. That's why I was, you know, hesitant to Solemn. I was like, bro, if this is Zephyr Divine Wrath, or the Zephyr Divine Strike set, I'm gonna get wrecked, but it wasn't, and he just searched out his Zephyr Divine Strike, so I feel pretty decent about my position. I'm going to activate, I believe, Protocol during his end phase, and I'm doing that because when I activate my manifestation, it makes it so that Altergeist cards and effects cannot be negated, and their activations cannot be negated once they're on the field. I make another misplay here too, by the way, which actually was pretty big. So I'm going to activate Protocol, and now I'm going to let Protocol resolve. He's like, oh, this is the Divine Wrath, it doesn't do anything. I'm like, yeah, unless you activate a monster effect, it doesn't do anything. Plus, I can't activate it anyway. I can't because it sends as a cost, so I don't have any face-up Altergeist cards. So I'm going to flip up Manifestation. I'm going to target my Hextia. And see, like, I don't know if he let this resolve. Like, it's unclear if Nye let this resolve or not. Because he has a card that would make it so that it doesn't fully resolve, like an MST or something like that. He says it's called the Haunted. Yeah, like, it's unclear at what point. I'm going to assume, because I didn't search with Hexia. If he's letting it resolve, then I would search with Hexia. I'd search Miluseek and start attacking him directly. But I don't think he's letting it resolve. So I can't really say it's a misplay. I'm saying the misplay was not searching for Hexia. But I'm guessing, because it is like Call of the Haunted, where the cost of activating this effect is just targeting a monster in the graveyard. The monster doesn't get summoned immediately if you MST it or Cosmic Cyclone it or something like that. So I'm guessing that he's responding to kind of its activation. At this point, I top deck Wiretap, which at least it can get rid of the Zephyr Divine Strike. I'd rather have something. Well, no, if I had Card of Demise, he would Zephyr Divine Strike that. So I guess it's good that I didn't draw Card of Demise. I'm going to summon Sequidius. I think I'm going to start banishing. I don't know. He bounced because he doesn't understand how Sequidius works. Whatever. No one who doesn't play, like, people who don't play Altergeist don't know anything about this fucking deck. So I just let them make all the stupid misplays they want. I'm going to get Protocol from my grave. I think I'm out of manifestations, which is bad. Our Call of the Haunted, all of them have been banished, so that kind of sucks. I wish there was a way to put the cards back into your, what's it called? Put them back into your graveyard, but we don't have an Altergeist card that does that. So I was fully expecting him to just attack into Sequidius and for me to just lose Sequidius, but what I would have done was I would have bounced into this. I would have bounced to Zephyr Windy. I was hoping that he wouldn't summon another monster that could attack over it, or that he would do something stupid, which is exactly what he's going to do, which I was like, thank the Lord, man. He's the massive misplay. So he pendulum summons 2 6s. I don't have any Psalms or anything, so I'm like, all right. I asked him if he's going to use the effects, and he should have just sat on those. Like I couldn't kill two monsters with 2600. Instead, he goes into Photon Strike Bouncer. I flip over my protocol because I now can bounce one protocol. He cannot Zephyr Divine Strike these, by the way, because of protocol's effect. So this is crazy. He's going to attack, and I'm just going to activate Sequidius' effect. I'm going to bounce Photon Strike Bouncer. He cannot negate this bounce effect because of protocol on the field. Altergeist cards cannot be negated, and their activations cannot be negated. So yeah, he just kind of really messed up there. He made a Photon Strike Bouncer that couldn't even activate, and I think I did okay there. I'm going to Pot of Duality for, I believe, Dark Hole, Solemn Strike, and Mirror Force. Dark Hole, Solemn Strike, Mirror Force. Yeah, I have to take Mirror Force because you can't Solemn if your opponent already has a monster on board, and Dark Hole doesn't matter because it'll just pendulum summon it back. So Mirror Force is the only card guaranteed to stop at least one battle phase. So we got to take Mirror Force. People don't believe that battle traps exist, so that's why I run them. Doesn't always help when your opponent gets to see them with Pot of Duality, but it is what it is. It's not like I had a choice there. I think he's gonna send Destrudo to the grave, and once again he's activating it. And good, thank God that he only runs one copy of Black Rose, because right now, actually I can stop. No, I couldn't because of this. So he's going to attack. I'm gonna activate my Mirror Force. And this is going to be some next level chains right here. This is going to be pretty awesome. So I thought he was going to use Zephyr Divine Strike, but he did not use Zephyr Divine Strike. He just let it go, and he's going to activate, I want to call it Ultimate Providence, but that's something different. Zephyr Providence? He activates Zephyr Providence from the graveyard to protect her, and I was like, oh, I totally forgot this card is it's a rotor for your archetype, and it protects your monsters. Like, good God, that card is really good. So I'm gonna take 1500, which means I'm in the danger zone. I'm at 800, one attack away from dying. But the chain is not over, the next level. So he activates Chronograph Sorcerer, which I still don't know what it does, but I'm gonna assume it's like Astrograph Sorcerer. So I say, hell no, I'm gonna activate my protocol, my Divine Wrath. I'm gonna Divine Wrath it, and he's going to activate his Zephyr Divine Strike, and I'm gonna wiretap that. So I ultimately win the War of the Chains, and I got lucky because obviously that card could have killed me. Yeah, I assume that this is probably like Astrograph Sorcerer when a pendulum card, or when a card on your side of the field is destroyed, you summon it or some shit like that. So I just assumed it's like Astrograph Sorcerer, and I'm like, all right, I don't want to deal with that fucking card. So I'm going to Divine Wrath it, because if not, I die. Now we're both at really low light points, both under 1,000. I get the perfect top deck, which is Scapegoat, and I'm like, not only does this stop an attack, but it can actually, I can turn this into a Gaia Dragon or a Mistress Radiant plus a Link Spider. Like, I can just kill you, probably Gaia Dragon. That'd probably be the card, or Gaia Knight. Sorry, I'm sorry. There's so many Gaias. So I believe he summoned a Garuda, and I'm like, crap, that changes my Gaia play into a Mrs. Radiant or into something else like a Link Karibo. So I get 2 tokens, and I think he's going to go into Heavy Metaphors Electromites, and I'm going to, since I have another protocol, I'm going to Divine Wrath that one too, because I don't want that card resolving, because then he gets to draw cards. He's going to Pendulum in defense. I get a Mirror Force. Now this was another thing, this was another failed opportunity for me. I should have immediately, I was thinking about going into Mrs. Radiant, but I was like, it doesn't really do that much. Maybe I'm better off with Link Karibo. And what I failed to realize was, at this time, I learned it in my next turn, that Altergeist Konkori is Earth. So I was trying to think if I get any, like, if I can't get any value out of my Mrs. Radiant, but I can, because if he kills Mrs. Radiant, I get Konkori back from my graveyard, and at least Konkori can stall on the field. It can negate one of his cards. I guess, I don't know, this one maybe. So I should have went into Mrs. Radiant, but I had the Mirror Force. I was like, yo, maybe I can bait him into attacking, but the problem is he can still just keep pendulum summoning. So I ultimately just set. I think he is going to take the bait. Yeah, Destrudo coming out again. He's done way more damage to himself, paying half of his light points than I have. So yeah, it actually happens a lot. Sometimes I'll play against like Dark Lords on my live stream, and they pay themselves with the 1,000. Like, they pay themselves down way more than I ever do. So Altergeist, sometimes if your opponent has life point cost effects like heroes, they'll do way more damage to themselves than you actually do. So I'm going to Mirror Force them, and He doesn't have the Zephyr Providence, but he does Pendulum Summon in defense mode. This time, I am going for Mrs. Radiant because I realize Concordia is an Earth monster, and I'm just going to attack. And I feel good about this because even if he Pendulum Summons, if he summons after that to try and mount this thing, I can Torrential him, and I can get my Concordia back. So he is not going to do anything. He's just going to Pendulum Summon, but finally, I get my Miloseek. She can attack directly, and because he kept cutting his life points in half, we can just win the duel. So GG, no re, very good game, Mr. Knight. But that was just a nice little display of Altergeist. And yeah, this is my regional deck. I'm not going to post the profile yet because I don't want to put it out there, but I do have the deck set, and it's a really good archetype. Everybody thinks that it's terrible and it cannot compete, but you saw the deck is able to grind extremely well. And if I would have just known about like how Oracle of Zephyr was going to chain, if I solemn him, that game is probably over 4 turns ago. I don't think he's going to break out that lock. Doesn't even matter if he was playing like Pendulum Magicians, which are better than Zephyr, he still wouldn't break out that lock because I had too many negates. I had Monster Negation, I had Attack Negation, and I had Spell and Trap Negation. And he had cards on board, so it wasn't like he could activate Evenly Match and blow me out. But whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already. Turn on that notification bell for daily videos.